Welcome to Triggered, coming to you from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains and Dragon House Studios. I'm your host, Michael Bain. As many of you know, for years I have self-identified as a llama because I'm quick to anger and I often spit. Well, the most dangerous time of year for us llamas is the spring shearing season. Anyway, hairless or not, today I want to talk to you about a couple of companies doing some really interesting things. The first is TACCOM, T-A-C-C-O-M, my good friend Timothy Ubel. And this rifle is mostly from TACCOM. This is a chassis that TACCOM sells for the Ruger 1022. It's an aluminum chassis, and what really makes it interesting is obviously it uses AR-15 style stocks, but what Tim has done is create a series of carbon fiber options. This is a carbon fiber tube that mounts to the stock. This is a carbon fiber forend. Why would you go with carbon fiber? Because they don't weigh anything. They're made out of spider silk and faith. And the advantage for a rifle that is built for racing, which this gun is specifically built for racing. It's built for Rimfire Steel Challenge. It's built for the Rimfire Challenge Shooting Association. You want light, and this is very, very light. A second thing from TACCOM that I want to show you, because I think it's really neat, is this mount. This is a Holosun 510, and it's a great sight, but it's a big sight, as you probably noticed. This is a sight that you go like, wow, that sight belongs on a rifle or perhaps a howitzer, small missile. Well, it comes with a mount that's a big, thick Picatinny rail. So it's meant just to open up and clip on to your pick rail. Everything has a pick rail. I'm pretty sure my car has a pick rail somewhere. But the problem with the Picatinny rail on a sight like the 510, the Picatinny rail is high. It sits up high. You don't want it to sit up high, especially on a 22 race rifle. That's not what you want from that rifle. So you want this sight lower. Well, Tim designed a new mount for the 510. Basically, you get the Holosun and you unbolt the Picatinny rail. Not that big a deal. Unbolt it and then bolt it on this mount that comes from TACCOM. And remember, blue Loctite is your friend, always. Red Loctite, not so much. Blue Loctite or some sort of mid-level thread locker, there's a bunch of them out there, are your friends. Then once you have the 510 mounted on this sight, then it mounts directly on the receiver of the rifle. Tim says that it actually lowers this sight 0.8, 0.87 inches, which is a really big deal with a race rifle because of the way they're shouldered. He also provides either a straight tube, which I like. With this rifle, straight tube works, or a tube with a slight bend in it. And the advantage of that slight bend is it lowers your cheek down. So it depends on you. I was thinking that we would probably need the bent stock tube, but when I started shouldering the rifle, I didn't need it. And that's partly because for a race rifle, for a competition rifle, a rifle designed to be used in these specific competitions where you're probably going to start pointed at a cone at a 45-degree angle, you've already got the rifle set in your shoulder. What you need to do is just come up with it. When Triggered returns, we're going to talk a little more about this. Welcome back to Triggered. I met Tim Ubel from TACCOM in like 2004 at a dinner after SHOT Show that has achieved somewhat of a legendary status. A friend of mine, executive at a gun company, called me up and said, there's only a few people left in town after SHOT, Michael. I'm going to take about 14, 15 people to dinner. Want to split the cost? I said, how much? And he goes, don't worry, we're going to some grill. the Capital Grill. And $4,700 later, I learned exactly what the cost was. In any case, Tim was working for JP Rifles back then. But just a quick spec on this rifle, Tim said, hey, you got enough parts to build a 1022, right? Like, duh, yeah. The barrel itself, and I think the receiver, I wouldn't swear to it, are from a competition light from Ruger, and I think it's one of the best barrels I ever found that Ruger made. I love their heavy .920 barrels, but this one is a steel barrel and aluminum sleeve, like so many of the aftermarket products you see. I believe the comp is from Tandem Cross. Wouldn't swear to it. I don't know where I found this grip, but I think I forget, Tactical Development, one of them. But I like it. It goes very well. The trigger group is from Volquartsen. Long-term sponsor of ours, a TG2000 trigger group. I had to order the pins because I keep cannibalizing pins from trigger groups, and so I have a bin with trigger groups in them with parts falling out because I stole the pins. So in short, you end up with a super light rifle, super fast to handle, and it works within the context of those competitions. Another thing you could do with this, if you wanted to, and this is just a thought, is that you could also fit a tube or a connector in here to put a 1913 folding type stock on it. If you wanted an ultralight rifle to go out and slay the dreaded squirrel, well, you could certainly do it with this. This thing is crazy accurate. I actually look forward to going back to some speed competition. You know, I'd kind of talk myself out of speed shooting, but when I handle this rifle, I think, boy, that would really, really be fun. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about another small company that's really made some changes. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Armscore Rock Island Armory. What's your passion? Taurus USA. Always ready, always bring it. And SDS imports the Thesis PX9. Thesis means quality. Welcome back to Triggered, where we've been talking about companies like TACCOM that make a real difference in the .22 competition space. We've shown you the Volquartsen Mamba X, which may well be the best out-of-the-box .22 competition people for rimfire challenge, for steel challenge rimfire that you can get. I've also shown you my own gun, my own Racegun, which is a Tactical Solutions upper on a Volquartsen lower. It's a great gun. It's been a great gun for a lot of seasons. Now I want to show you the third player. This is Tandem Cross, who in just a few years has really, really, really shaken up the .22 competition market and moved out in some other areas, by the way. This is their new Ruger Mark IV lower, the Kraken. And I like anything called a Kraken. So you can either get all the pieces and assemble it yourself, or you can get it completely assembled. And it's a Mark IV. Why is that important? Well, this is a Ruger Mark IV competition. What Ruger changed with the Mark IV was this magic button back here. So to take this gun apart, you do that. And then it's on a hinge here. You just pop it right off, clean it, put it back on. It allows you to easily change uppers and lowers, which is hard to do on any other type of Ruger. Instead of the button, Tandem Cross opted for this bolt that screws in and locks the upper into the lower. This particular upper, it is a race upper. It's from Mad Max Precision Tactical. I used it for a season. It's got right now a Trichicon SRO on it. I used it on a Ruger, and I thought it was pretty good upper. It needs to be like re-Cerakoted, something other than, you know, baby diaper. But the point I want to make quickly about the Kraken is everything in it is first rate. And the trigger, this big, fat, wide trigger here with the stop is absolutely amazing. It is as good a trigger as I've felt on a competition .22. Now I'm looking at taking these three super guns, and that's kind of what they are, out and shooting them against each other. I've already shot the Mamba and my Tactical Solutions, and boy, it's hard to tell a difference when you've got a gun that points well. And you'll see these are all 6 inches. And that's because in my own research from a few years back, I'd use shorter barrel guns, but what I found was that the aluminum uppers with obviously a steel barrel in them and a little compensator for the weight on the end, to me, handled better than a shorter barrel gun. So that's the path I went down. And you can see as well, you can get the Volquartsen, you get the Tactical Solution, you get the Mad Max. But I am hugely impressed with the Tandem Cross Kraken Lower. I'm very impressed because it is a Mark IV. And I would rather go the rest of my life and never reassemble a Ruger Mark Series frame. Never take one apart. Because when it goes back together in 20 seconds or at least 48 hours. So you never know which way that's going to fall. But take a look at Tandem Cross, take a look at TACCOM, and of course, the other companies we've been talking about, Volquartsen, Tactical Solutions. If you're familiar with Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson, they talk a lot about supercars. When Ken Jorgensen, Nelson Diamond, and I created the Rimfire Challenge, our idea was that everybody likes supercars. Everybody likes super guns. But everybody doesn't want to pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for them. So we wanted a competition where ultimately you could build up a super gun at a sane price without having to kill your kid's college education or actually selling your car. And I think over the years we've been really successful, and certainly these are all excellent choices. I'm Michael Bain. This is Triggers. You can find us on michaelbain.tv, where we are free as a bird every day. You can also find us on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble. We will have a list of links for everybody we talked about here. And special thanks to Arms Corps Rock Island sponsoring us this week. We'll see you next week.